And are you willing to gamble to share with that and build, or gamble and lose?
Yeah, so you're saying it's like going to Vegas.
I mean,
That's what you're saying, it's like going to Vegas.
Sometimes,
dice,
you know.
right?
The question that I got is there such thing as the one?
Are you going to get personal with your answer?
If you're interested.
I am very curious about.
Okay, all right, well, I mean, I don't understand where the one came from.
Right.
I don't know what that means. I guess that might be like a Disney thing from like a long time ago. I feel like there are people who are compatible and there are people who are not compatible.
Yep.
Right? You can be compatible with different people, depending on what your expectations are, what your definition of love is, what your love languages are, what makes you happy, etc. Now, if you isolate that group of people that you're compatible with based on what your expectations are, then you might have within that group the best one.
Yeah.
And I think that's when, people are like, the one is because you meet somebody who you can't imagine your life without, And I think for men, when it comes to committing, it might be a timing thing. It might be a timing thing. I think there's so much expectation when it comes to us. Right? Do y'all agree?
I do.
In society?
Yeah.
There's a lot of expectations.
I think for men, they look at the future. They're like, okay, I want to build something else. And you think, okay, wow, what do we accomplish together if we kind of make this an established thing? I think that's kind of what leads men to want to get married rather than just be in a relationship. Because like you said, if there's not necessarily the one, but there's people that you really get along with and are compatible with, then that's when you're you want to be in a relationship.
If I know that as a man, I'm expected to do this, 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 and this, and if I'm able to do this, 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 and this, and I'm looked at as a viable candidate as a man or a man in society, right? Then I'm not gonna personally, in my mind, be ready for marriage until I know that I can accomplish these things. Right. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily always true or that that's the right way to think or the right timing for you. Sometimes you're never ready.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just gotta jump off the ship, you know what I'm saying? But if I know instinctively that I'm a provider, you know what I mean? Until I can provide, fully provide in today's society, then I'm always going to be hesitant, apprehensive about moving forward.
Right. But also on the flip side of that, you have business of marriage. And I think sometimes that's forgotten as well. Sometimes the business of marriage is scary to a lot of men because the business of marriage forces you to think about, what if this doesn't work out? What does that look like for me financially? What does that look like for, my potential kids and their well-being moving forward? So there's a lot of elements to marriage that I don't think people take in consideration that a lot of men think about, because there are men that just don't want to commit. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
Then there are a lot of men that are scared to commit. Being scared to commit and not wanting to commit are two different things. Unfortunately, we don't get a pass for being fearful of the commitment based off of the other side of it, which is the business.
Yeah,
The business keeps people dating for 20, 30 years and not being married, but have 3, 4 kids and a house together and all the other things. Because at least if they're not married, they're in a position where the business can't come back and bite them in the ass. And I know a lot of people might hear that and say that's nonsense, but that's the truth.
And they function well that way. They have everything, but it's all but on paper.
Right.
But that's what I was going to say. For you to say that, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be like, whatever. That's an excuse.
And that makes sense.
And it makes sense. But at the end of the day, men are talking about how they feel.
Right.
Isn't that valid? Because we know that the court system is not designed for men.
Right.
We know that, right? So, in the back of our minds, unless we are absolutely 100% sure, right? We know that we would have to go up against that.
Right, and that's what's so dope about the show, Johnson, is that, my character, Omar, is actually living this experience with someone that he did love, that he did marry. It's a very relevant conversation because there are so many couples that are going through this right now.
Yeah.
That's what I personally feel.
Yeah, I think it could be a timing thing as well, because I feel like when you're younger, your currency is not always monetary. Sometimes your currency is your ambition. right? And then when you're older, you're taking stock of it. It's more of what have you achieved, where are you at, what do you have, and you got to make a decision. Are you willing to gamble to share with that and build, or gamble and lose?
Yeah, so you're saying it's like going to Vegas.
I mean,
you're saying it's like going to Vegas.
sometimes,
Roll the dice, right?
I mean, I think with my wife, she saw my ambition, she saw my drive, she saw my character, and so she saw the king that I would become versus looking in, are you a king right now?
Yeah.
So
Right?
what attracted you to your wife?
First of all, she's beautiful. She's fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, But she had a nurturing vibe to her, right? She had like a caring soul to her. She was the one that kind of showed me what thoughtfulness looked like. And that stuck out for me. Instead of like trying to figure out what do I have, where am I at, she was more about what are you about? What are some of your goals? And her thoughtfulness of her and I versus her.
Right.
Is something that stuck out for me.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to, I think I'm coming up on my 4-year anniversary of my marriage. I'm not sure. I'm so sorry if I forgot my own anniversary.
Was it today?
Damn it!
No, you better go call right now.
It was yesterday.
It was
but
yesterday.
It doesn't count. It was yesterday.
No, but what I found is that, when I found my wife, I found someone who elevated me, who suddenly I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm about to reach the next stage of my evolution through my interaction with this person. I was looking up to her almost in a way for how intelligent, ambitious, poised, beautiful, all these things. And I was like, man, if I could build something with that, then I'm gonna have the best life.
And I think most men, you just mentioned caring. You mentioned thoughtfulness. You mentioned somebody who you can build with, who's going to inspire you, I believe. These are all qualities I think that most men are looking for.
Look, we go cheers to it.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
We go cheers to it. Hey.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Toast to beautiful relationships, however you can get it.
That's right.
That's right.
That's it.
Feeling it.
We get into these topics and many more every week on Johnson.
And go to bouncetv.com/find us to learn how to watch Bounce in your area.
We live tweet every episode Saturday nights at 8 p.m. 7 Central.
And weekly new episodes will be added to the Brown Sugar app for you to catch up.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Let's go.
Shine.